morning, everyone. We are here this morning to have this preparatory webinar concerning the organization of Community Days 2023. Before starting, I would like to share with you the agenda of this session of this morning. So moving to the next slide, you will see that we will have a first session regarding the organization of Community Days. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to organize successful events. In the second session, we will hear some examples from other DIHs that already organized events in the last year, in the past session of the Community Days 2022. And in the end, we will have our colleagues from Intellera explaining us what's beyond the Community Days. So what can we do more? I would like to share with you some housekeeping rules. So first of all, please make sure that your microphones are switched off so that we can avoid noises with during the presentations. If you have to ask questions, please do it or raising your hand or via chat. The moderator will give you the screen. When asking questions, please go straight to the point. And in the end, I would like to remind you that this session is being recorded. So starting from the first session, I am going to, this is the content of my first presentation. I'm going to explain you what Community Days are. I'm going to share with you some guidelines and tips on how to organize Community Days. And in the end of the presentation, we are going to choose all together the topic of the third Community Days of this year, the first session of Community Days. So starting from the first point, moving on, we know that DIH-World Project aim to harmonize the landscape of European DIHs across whole Europe. And in this framework, Community Days are thought as a measure to connect DIHs with their stakeholders, to present them their services and to get inspiration from the local regional ecosystem. But how are you going to do that? By organizing events, either in presence or online, inviting SMEs, regional stakeholders, and other cross-border DIHs, showcasing them, your infrastructure, your work, and letting them familiarize with the technology that you are providing. We thought to organize the 2023 Community Days between the 17th and the 29th of April, so after the Easter break, hoping that these days are fine for the majority of you. So this will be an occasion for you to present your work and to connect with different stakeholders in Europe. But how to do this? Moving on, after this meeting, we will share with you, moving on again, we are going to share with you a document with all the general information you will need in order to be able to organize a successful event, because as you can imagine, there are many things to take into account before, during, but also after the event itself. So before the event, in relation to the planning and design aspects, be aware of who you want to address your message, and so plan your dissemination accordingly to this. So please identify the target audience to address your message. Second, the general aim of Community Days is to let your DIH be known, but you can also decide to take advantage from this opportunity and set different goals. So please set your goals in line with the project ones, but also be creative and take advantage of the situation and enjoy this opportunity. Third one, you can choose to organize an online as well as an in-presence event, both in terms of physical venues as well as in terms of online platform to be used. So you have to select the proper tool and platform to organize your event, also according to your capacity and your knowledge. So please make sure to pick up and to choose a platform that you are able to manage, you are confident to manage, and that allow you to do it properly. So moving on, another important point is the participation form, because to facilitate the organization and the dissemination of the event, you must fill in the participation form, which can be found in the annex number 5 of the guidelines that we are going to provide. This will be super helpful for us, to the project team, to better understand the general information related to your events to be put in our website, as well as to get to know the assistance and the support that you may need. This form needs to be submitted 10 days before the starting date of the Community Days. So it is due by March 7th, 2023. Then another important aspect of an event for sure is the promotion. So because we all know that the success of an event will also depend on the degree of communication and promotion that we are going to do. So once you will have a clear idea about the type of event and the content, you will have to create a registration link and a save the date with some general information, to be supported then in a second moment by a draft agenda that you can find in the annex number 3 of the guidelines we are going to provide you. Then, according to the dissemination plan, you will have to promote the event through different channels like social media, newsletter, and whatever channel you have in your DIH. Even in this case, you will have some templates that you can find in annexes number 1 to 3 of the guidelines. So as you can see, everything is really well supported. This is the part related to the part prior to the event, what to do previously. Then, during the event, there are some things to take into account. First of all, the participant list. So if you're organizing an in-presence event, please make sure to let participants sign the attendance list. As well as for online events, please make sure to be able to extrapolate, to gather the list from the registration link that you are going to create. Second important points are the minutes and the photos. So please make sure to have someone of you, some of your colleagues in charge of taking minutes of the events, gathering the most important information, because this could be useful for you to be put in future possible publication on your social media, newsletter, articles, and whatever. Take also some pictures, please, or screenshot if you're organizing an online event. Last but not least, if you are, in case you are organizing an online event, you are required to record the session. So please take into consideration to use a platform that allow you to do that. And remember, this is very, very important, and remember to include the consent question for the recording in the registration link you are going to create for your own event. So moving on, what is needed to be done after the event itself, even in this case, there are some things to take into account. First of all, the report. You are required to do a report, and you have to do this by filling the form you will find in annex number 6 of the guidelines. This reporting form must be sent within 2 days after the event. And this is really, really, really important to us, because the review meeting with the European Commission will be held 1 week later. So we really need to have all the information necessary to be able to explain them what happened during community days. Second important point are the feedbacks from participants. So please remember to ask them their impressions, their suggestion of the event that you organize. You can choose the tool that you prefer, a doodle, a questionnaire, whatever you want, but please do simple and accurate question to understand what was successful and what you can maybe ameliorate for the future. Third point, important one, is the follow-up email. You are highly recommended to send an email to all the participants, sharing with them the material used during the event. So the presentation used by the speakers, the notes that you have taken, the eventual recording of the online event, and so on and so forth. So just to sum up, what would you get? You will receive from me a document called Guidelines to Organize Effective Community Days. And this event, moving on, Giacomo, this document will include the visual guidelines, a storyboard template for community days with a checklist of things to do, examples of draft agenda, social media templates, and the participation form you have to fill in. So you will have all the information in a single document, highlighting all the deadlines for the submission and also many other tips. So this is more or less the structure of the community days and what you will have to do. Now we have to choose altogether the topics of this year edition of the community days. We have 5 proposals, and the first one is related to the exploiting the power of data. because we know that data science takes data to a deeper level by utilizing scientific method and algorithm to provide forward-looking insight and knowledge. So we thought that this could be one option to deepen, to be tackled during the events you are going to organize this year. The second proposal regards big data and business intelligence. So you are required in this case to understand which is the difference between big data and business intelligence, and also which are the similarities, because we know that big data refers to large data sets that exist typically within organization, while business intelligence refers to the utilization of these data for analytical purposes. So it would be interesting to understand the relation between the two. Our third option is related to digital twin. That refers to the use of a digital twin to design 3D model of the original, enabling the team of your company to analyze the performance of the object under different conditions. Fourth option is related to virtual reality manufacturing, because we all know that virtual reality in manufacturing industry enables designers to simulate their design prototype or model on advanced software. And this, of course, helps them to rectify errors at the primary stage, and mostly to reduce time and cost, which is important for a government company or research center. The last option that we are going to propose is the business network interconnectivity, because with data connectivity and network services, enterprises can enable the expansion of their ability to handle traffic while keeping costs down. So even in this case, it could be a really relevant topic to tackle during this year's session of the community days. So I now kindly ask you to go on slido.com and to vote to the topic that you prefer and you would like to address during this year edition of the community days. I don't know if we can share the results so that we can see the live voting system, and in the end we will know which will be the selected topic. Thank you. So please vote. You have to go on your on slido.com website and use the hashtag Community Days 2023. A page with the option will appear. You just have to select the one that you prefer. I see that 9 people are within the slido.com, but at the moment, no results showing. I see no results, so I'm talking to my colleagues. I don't know if it's normal or if we just have to wait.
It might have a problem because I have already voted and
okay, thank you
nothing is happening.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. So maybe we can refresh the page because I'm not the one. We are waiting for 30 people to vote. Okay. Okay. So please, 7 people are missing. If you can go on slido.com and vote, it would be amazing, so that we will have a general overview of the voting system. Yes, there's a little bit of suspense, but 24, 6 people missing. 25. Okay. So apparently, the majority of you, with the 27% of the vote, choose digital twins as the topic of this year's section of the community days. So this will be the topic that you will have to work on and to structure your event upon. Well, the percentage is still moving, so but digital twins is at the first place. So, okay, last year the topic chosen was the green digital transition in manufacturing, and this year you will have to work upon digital twins. Okay, thank you so much for voting. I hope this option would have been fine for you. And I hope the digital twin would be a stimulating topic to work upon, that you will be able to find a way to tackle it properly in your event. Now, we are moving to the second session of this morning webinar, and we are going to hear the experience of 3 DIHs that last year organized events during the previous edition of the community days. Here, it is important to point out that you have the possibility to organize either single events or national ones. Single events regard one single DIH that decides to open the door to stakeholders and to organize something individually. Well, of course, as you can imagine, national events are joint effort of different DIHs from the same country or region that organize an event or a series of events together. So these are the two options that you have, and in this case, we are going to listen to the experiences of 3 different DIHs. First of all, we are going to listen to Andrei from the Transylvania DIH of Romania, who's going to share with us his experience related to the organization of a national event. So Andrei, whenever you are ready, the screen is yours. I know that you have a presentation, so you can share the screen with us.
Yes, hello everyone. Hope you can hear me well.
We can hear you, yes. Thank you.
Okay, just a moment for me to share my screen. Okay, now you can see it, hopefully. So hello to everyone. Nice to meet you all. My name is Andrei Martiniuc, and I am project manager, first of all, working for Transylvania IT Cluster, organization which is also the main orchestrator of Transylvania Digital Innovation Hub. So I will present to you just a little bit about our organization and what we're doing, which is very similar to most of you, of course. And then I will go into more details about the event we organized last year. So we as a cluster represent, first of all, the ICT community in the northwestern region of Romania. And as I mentioned already, we are coordinating the regional digital innovation hub with the same name. We represent as a cluster over 150 members, which is a very strong community of tech providers in the region. And this gives us also a very good opportunity to act as a bridge between the technological providers in the region, mostly represented by the industry, the ICT companies, and bring these technological offers to potential users, beneficiaries in the region. Yes, so since 2017, we, together with other clusters from the region, which are covering different industries, started to develop our main project, which is the one-stop shop for digital transformation, Transylvania DIH, to cover the needs of digital transformation in the region of the SMEs mainly, but also the public sector. As a structure, we have 6 main partners in our Digital Innovation Hub. We have representatives of academia, industry, and also public entities. And then we have also 8 associated partners which are supporting us in getting in touch with potential clients in the region. So regarding the services we provide for digital transformation as a one-stop shop, those are structured in 4 categories, as you already know: test before invest, skills and training, support to find investment, and networking and ecosystem building. And yes, one of the services, if we go back to from the networking and ecosystem building category, is to organize awareness events and also success stories presentation in different type of events, so that representatives of the industry, the companies, and also public sector understand the benefits of digital transformation, and also get in touch with potential providers so that they can start new collaboration. One of which was also the event we organized together with 2 other digital innovation hubs from Romania, which is Wallachia A-Hub and also FIT Digital Innovation Hub from 2 other regions of Romania, Centru and Sud Muntenia. And together we joined forces to organize this DIH-World Community Days in Romania, and with the name Digital Innovation Facilitators in Romania. The main purpose of this event was to actually create some awareness regarding the one-stop shop digital innovation hubs and their role and what they provide now and in the future for potential clients in the 3 regions of Romania. And then also to showcase concrete technology transfer experiments, which was supported and funded by the DIH-World Project. And here you can see the agenda of what has been presented in our event on 5th of May in 2022. So the free Digital Innovation Hub has been presented by each of the DIHs to participants, and also the opportunities and services provided by DIH-World Project. Just some numbers regarding the event and what has been done on our side. We had a total of 88 registrations in our online event, and also 53 participants in the event, which was represented by mostly representatives of companies. So we had 35 representatives of the industry participating to the event, also digital innovation hubs and other entities coming from academia, NGOs, and public sector. So as a result, what we have achieved through this event, from my perspective at least, is that we managed to raise some awareness about digital innovation hubs and their role in the next period, and also to promote the services and the opportunities provided by the digital innovation hubs, the free digital innovation hubs members of the DIH-World community, and also what has been done and supported by the DIH-World Project. So that would be very briefly about our event, which we consider to be a success for us, because it helped us to promote us as a digital innovation hubs, but also to have a structure for future events, which we are now currently organizing under the DIH projects. So if you have any questions, I'm here for you to answer them. You can also address them in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Andrei, for sharing your experience with us. If we don't have any question, we can move on to the second speaker of this session, which is the representative of the Łukasiewicz, I'm not sure about the pronunciation, I'm sorry, Research Network of Poland. We have with us Grzegorz and Beata. Are you there? Are you ready?
Yes, we are there. Grzegorz is online. I've seen also Beata. So I will start our presentation in a moment.
Thank you so much.
Our
The screen is
presentation
yours.
is split into parts. In the beginning, I will share with you some experience on organizing such event. We organized 4 of them. And Beata will discuss some particular profits from being in a DIH and from participation in one of our webinars. So let me share the screen. Just a moment. Which one is that? I think it should be this one. Yes, share with you. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So let me, I don't know, I cannot switch to the next. Oh, yes. So event planning by me, and after that, Beata will take over the screen. As I said, we organized for a workshop. We followed exactly the timeline and organization flow for the workshop organization as you presented in the beginning of today's meeting. We started from topic selection, audience participant profiling, event promotion, etc., etc. And in a moment, I will show you how the process was going on. First of all, we discussed internally on the workshop topics. So we selected topics for hold a series of 4 workshops, starting from in the middle of April 2021. It was 15th of April as a microelectronics precursor and co-creator of Industry 4.0. After that, in end of June, we discussed ASIC design, as you can see on the second frame. After that, we switched to MEMS technology in the December 21. And finally, last year in May, we discussed and presented our competences because we decided to present competences concentrated in our institute and in our DIH. So in the last workshop, we discussed and presented competences in LTC technology, represented by Beata also for today's discussion. As we followed the timeline and schedule on the stage of participant and workshop profiling, we, after selection of the workshop topic, we started event promotion in social media. After that, as participants started to register to the webinar, we circulated participant form, as it was also discussed in the beginning of today's meeting. Everything was fully automated, registration process, platform selection. We used the click-to-meeting platform because it's very flexible. We started from Teams tool, but after that, due to some problems with Q&A session, with feedback gathering, we decided to switch to the click-to-meeting platform. After that, we set up again the agendas for all 4 workshops in some sequence. Of course, it was not done in the single day, but we prepared agendas for each workshop, precise agendas. We decided to split each presentation in some general areas like general introduction, like presentation of the DIH, particular meritoric discussion and presentation in some field like MEMS, like ASIC design, like LTCC technology, etc. And after that, we left some space for Q&A session. It was about starting from 5 to 20 minutes in last case of the webinar. As you can see, we split the presentation. We registered everything. There have been various presenters in each area. So you can see the second workshop, third workshop on LTCC technology. And after that, after all the presentation, after a Q&A session in a agreed period of time, we prepared reports. And it's quite interesting because as we started from the here you can see some sample of the reports, and it's quite interesting that as we started in the beginning from 63 persons available in the interested, we ended with 89. We also made rating. It's, as you can see, it was evaluated as very good event. And some statistics on country interests. As you can see, majority was from Poland, but also some participants from Austria, Germany, from Great Britain were also participated also in our meeting. What's interesting is that we decided to perform all those workshops in Polish, not in English, because all participants were Polish from across the Europe, but all of them were Polish. So we decided not to run it in English, but to switch to Polish language. And it's quite interesting and quite a good experience that number of participants raised. So we gathered some experience in promotion, and we gathered some experience in presentation of our competence. Maybe there is some relation with topic of the particular workshops, but in general, it was quite good, I think, experience from my side. So that's all from my side. Now I would like to switch to Beata presentation on experience, positive experience from our workshops. Thank you very much. If any questions, I'm available.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm trying to stop my presentation, but
Yes.
I don't know. Oh,
And
I should stop. Yes.
I will do my best to start mine. Okay. Do you see my presentation? Hello?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Moment.
There should be a green button to share.
Okay,
oh,
now
yeah.
we can see it.
Okay. Okay, once again, hello everyone. My name is Beata Sienkiewicz-Musiarska, and I had the pleasure to present our presentation on LTCC technology during the meeting, and we decided to split our presentation to two categories. The first one was LTCC technology, and it was more scientific, more technological aspects of the LTCC process. And second one was more popular science and very interesting for our registered participants, because it was showing the applications of the LTCC technology. As you see, the topics in our agenda were very interesting, like how to stop the plague, or how not to crack, and how to see and hear. Our ambition was to show that LTCC technology realized in our laboratory can be closed into one process, very complex process, including selection of materials, bone milling, foil casting, tape casting, then laser processing, screen printing, and co-firing of the whole 3D structure. So we presented the process during the presentation, and we were trying to keep the interest during the whole technological part. Then we switched to the more popular science aspect. So we showed how, for example, our LTCC substrates are better than FR4 because of, for example, mechanical strength or the electric parameters and so on. Then we showed the advantages of LTCC technology, which were, for example, low energy costs, miniaturization possibilities, reliability of the materials, especially resistance to high temperature and humidity. Then, of course, we were also pointing out the complex process which allows us to create the 3D structure, including elements which have different properties into one system, so one board, actually, multi-layer. What were interesting aspects of our presentation during DIH? We used two speakers during our presentation. It created possibility to make a dialogue, and actually I think that the dialogue between us as presenters helped participants to ask more questions, actually. We split the presentation into two sections, so it was like an attractive topic at the end of the presentation. Kept the interest of the of people who were hearing us. Also, question and answer sections and discussion. It was a possibility to interact with all of people registered and with all of the participants, who was both students and also future partners, we hope. And also we sent the presentation to all interested people, to all interested parties after meeting, and we included, of course, contact details to us. What positive effects we have experienced? At the beginning, we started receiving the messages from potential customers. We had the proposition of collaboration, so we already had business meetings with actually 2 or 3 companies which are interested in cooperation in the field of not only LTCC, actually, for example, of SMD. Also, we improved our presentation skills. We were invited to lectures at 2 universities, to Warsaw University and of Technology and to Krakow University of Technology. We already had one lecture organized, and it was also having very good feedback. Also, we had a proposition to make together a proposal in the field of pH sensors, and it was like a proposal for a national center of research and development. We increased the recognition of the institution and, of course, of our laboratory. I was invited to the editorial board of New Journal. And also we, of course, we expand the knowledge about LTCC technology, and I think this is the biggest success of us. So we are really happy to take new DIH challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bada and Gregor, for your interesting and very detailed presentation. I would like now to give the screen to Philip from the CIMORA. If you're here, Philip, the screen is yours. Philip is going to share with us another experience from the organization of a single event of the past year.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, is it full screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Now?
No, I think that you have to put the presentation mode.
Yeah, right now?
No, we see your screen, so the full PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but also with the slides on the left. It's not full screen. Not yet. But there's no problem. You can go ahead like this.
Is it now better?
No.
No.
You just turn off your camera.
Okay, I'll just go like that.
Yes, of course. The screen is yours.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So hello, everyone. My name is Philip, and I work as a new project associate at CIMORA from Croatia. To start with, just please let me say a few words about CIMORA and who we are. So as I said, CIMORA is a regional development agency of CISLAC mostly in a county from central part of Croatia. And we are providing various types of services that includes preparation, writing, and implementation of projects on regional, national, and EU level for SMEs, small family-owned agricultural associations, many different types of public and private institutions, startups, and so on. And one of our biggest achievements is bringing one of our EU projects to the nowadays stage in form of a leading center of gaming industry, and it is our DIH PISMA. I hope you heard of that. It is our gaming incubator, which is also our digital innovation hub. That's why we're part of the DIH-World Project. It is also an accelerator. It is the home for 70 startups and around 240 game developers that work there. It is also leading center of gaming education in this part of Europe. And since last year, PISMO has a status of European Digital Innovation Hub. So can you see my next slide?
No, we are still seeing the cover one.
Okay. Is another one on screen yet?
Not yet.
It's a bit slow.
No worries. Maybe you can stop sharing and then sharing again.
Yeah, I'll try. Is it better now?
Yeah, now we see the second slide.
Okay, I'll just go like that. Okay, so regarding our community days event last year, we organized it in April. Since the theme was about green economy and digitalization, we named our event Think Green, Think Digital, Think PISMO, because we wanted to include speakers and representatives from fields that include green economy, digital sector, education sector, and some other relevant public and private bodies. So in total, we had 8 speakers from every aspect that we planned to have, as well as some examples of good practices on national and international level. Since our DIH PISMO is primarily oriented on gaming industry, we put a little emphasis on that part because we invited some high school and university students who are in process of finishing their education and are looking for some future opportunities. And one of our main targets were also SMEs, digital hubs, startups, some other educational institution of higher level and on national level, who are also oriented on educating young people of entrepreneurship and the usage of digital technologies in every field of industry or economy. Regarding the promotion, we create a communication plan with some posts for all Simras and PISMO social media platforms, which was in total, I believe, 8 or 9 platforms. So we communicated about every part of the event very directly to our public around 3 to 4 weeks before the event, and among all our chosen target groups through some specifically created social media posts and through some of our biggest local and regional media channels. Also, after the event, we published some posts on this event, conclusions from the event, some future plans and project activities. Yeah. Okay, so regarding the event impacts, I hope you can see the slide.
Yes, we see.
Great. Speaking of that, we were pretty happy that we succeeded to include speakers from all relevant fields that we wanted to have, which I previously mentioned. So that included business entrepreneurial center of another Croatian region that we collaborate with. It also includes our gaming incubator, of course, and speaker that spoke about some ways that PISMO went through its own digital transformation and its own growth. We also have faculty of electrical engineering and computing as high-level educational representative that spoke about some possible opportunities and ways for SMEs and startups towards their digital transformation. We also have Croatian Bank for Reconstruction and Development as a public body that gave some advices to SMEs and some small family-owned agriculture associations on their opportunities to developing their businesses in the future. We also have a private company, which is the leader in digital agriculture industry. And that is a company named Agrivi that develops a software for managing agricultural production. So they could give any beneficial business advice to all our public. And we also had Center for Artificial Intelligence and Applied Data Analytics from Ireland. And that center was our good practice example since it's market-oriented institution and it drives accelerated researches and development of artificial intelligence and data analytics technology. And finally, for the event participation, we had circa 80 registered participants from every part of our target groups. And on all our social media platforms, we had around 1,000 or even more views. So regarding the direct and indirect benefits from this event, After the event, we noticed quite an increase of clients that were looking for CIMORA's and PISMO's services. For example, for helping in preparing, writing, and implementing different kind of regional and national projects, especially those who are into agricultural development and digital things. And also we had an increase of written project applications on national and international level, in which is CIMORA a partner or a lead partner. And right now, me and my colleagues are preparing one big project for one very popular EU programs with team of women entrepreneurship in digital sphere. We also had an increase of number of startups working in PISMA incubator, and PISMA is getting quite popular on many different levels. So we also believe that presenting PISMA on this kind of event was pretty helpful for us. With this popularity of PISMA, we get an increase of interested students looking for PISMA's educations, and there are 3 different programs that we offer them now. But last year there were only 2 programs, so we also developed that according to the demand. And finally, wider recognition of CIMORA and PISMA incubator on regional, national, and international level, because many people heard of us, and we are getting in contact with many different potential partners for collaborations and partnerships. So yeah, that was shortly it. I thank you for your attention and for the opportunity to present our community days events. So for all questions, I'm at your disposal, or you can directly contact PISMA on email that is on the screen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Philip, for your presentation. I would like to ask you all if you have any question for the 3 speakers, 4 actually, that we have now. Otherwise, we can move to the next session, and I would like to give the floor to my colleague from Intellera, Beatrice, that is going to present that what is beyond Community Day. So which are the possibilities beyond this opportunity?
Thank you, Nora, and thank you to the previous speakers for their presentations. If my colleague can start to share her screen, presentation mode, great. Yes, as Nora was introducing me, I am Beatrice Bozzà from Intellera Consulting, and we are the work package for leaders. As we've seen from Andrei and Philip, community days are an excellent way for hubs to connect, get in touch with each other, and explore their respective activities by creating an event where they can display their services, and also to an enlarged audience, as we've seen, by joining their forces. At the same time, as some of you might already be aware from previous webinars that we held always in the context of the DIH-World, the collaboration among the hubs can happen in a series of other ways. And how precisely? It can happen through the development of a new service, through which, for example, one DIH can enlarge its offering by using the skills and experience available within the network and reaching out to other DIHs. Or it can also happen through the creation of a partnership to provide a service jointly with another hub and leveraging its complementing competences, for example. But it can also happen through matchmaking, with one hub reaching out to another DIH to support its clients to identify potential partners in another ecosystem. Thanks to this structured collaboration, the hubs can in fact upgrade their respective technological capacities, service offering, and also their skills, especially, for example, if they would like to explore new opportunities. In practice, as you can see, there are several benefits, and we've also witnessed them from the previous presentations today, deriving from such DIH cross-border or even national collaboration, which are, for example, as we've seen, responding more effectively to client ecosystem needs by improving capacities and service offering, or creating future partnership to explore opportunities in other regions or even in other countries. Boost, as we've seen, the visibility for each DIH, and also create growth opportunities for the local ecosystem and impact of public funding without duplicating investments or infrastructures from the EU level, and ultimately boosting the competitiveness of the EU industry, which is a major goal of the Commission through these funding programs like DIH-World. Just to remind you that in the context of the project, we have also developed the twinning scheme approach that should facilitate this smart matching of the hubs to support their collaboration and partnership building. The scheme is built on 4 dimensions or building blocks, if you want, that the hubs should or could consider when exploring their compatibility with other DIHs. And these are probably, of course, in some way, geographical proximity, which in fact allows cooperation to be more frequent and effective, thanks, for example, to an established connection of industries or businesses, and the need possibly to respond to similar and common challenges. Then also a similar technological focus, given that DIHs have competences related often to specific technologies which define their core skills and represent a useful common ground for collaboration. For example, as you will hear later on from our colleague working on the DIH for AI project, as he will present this experience of cross-border collaboration. And then also a similar sectoral coverage can, of course, facilitate collaboration between the hubs, since the hubs covering common sectors are more likely to deal with similar customers and have similar challenges and needs and can help each other out. And then finally, and possibly very important, before, sorry, the previous slide, a complementary service offering, which can indeed incentivize the hubs to cooperate. This is very important, especially for you to define and identify the portfolio of services that you provide and their maturity, because then this allows an efficient comparison to find those complementarities with the other hubs and ease synergies for a win-win cooperation and opportunities among the hubs that indeed offer different kind of services and complementary most of all. So next slide. Taking into account all of this, we are aware that, of course, there are some common obstacles to collaboration. It's not easy. For example, the identification of the correct partners, communicating with them. Then often partners may be reluctant to share some sensitive assets, some strategic assets, or not provide a valuable contribution. And then who is liable for this? Clients may also be unsatisfied. Once again, who has the responsibility for this? And then you also need to have a strong knowledge of each other's ecosystem to identify the most effective collaboration schemes and solutions. But nevertheless, we wanted to share with you also some practical solutions to overcome these challenges and obstacles. And these are, for example, the participation to networking events, to know each other and understand the ecosystem rotating around other DIHs, like the community days. Also through then an effective online presence and, once again, description of services so that the hubs can understand each other's complementarity. And then, for example, defining a cooperation agreement that can include non-compete clauses to defend the strategic assets or competition, or standard templates to govern the development of new services with rules that define the liabilities of the hubs, or, for example, some IP issues and delicate issues. If we go to the next slide, we can see that we have developed this framework cooperation agreement for such purposes, which documents the high-level framework agreement with some elements that can help to launch this collaboration among the hubs also for the future, and an ad hoc service agreement to facilitate the hubs in defining the development of these new services together. And so these, of course, we can be shared with you if you may find them useful for your collaboration endeavor in the future. But now let me leave the floor to my colleague Jaime, because he will illustrate the example of cross-border collaboration among hubs that indeed went way beyond the community days within another project, which is DIH for AI. And so, Jaime, I don't know if you're here. Can you
hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Beth, for the introduction. So, as anticipated, I will be talking about a successful cross-DH collaboration that we experienced in the DIH-4A project. I'll be focusing more on the collaborative part and less on the technical part. But the background information that you need is that within the DIH-4I project, two DIHs, the Munich DIH, coordinated by Fortis, and the Southern Netherlands DIH, coordinated by TNO, co-develop an technological AI experiment, leveraging on some aspects that we will see in a few seconds. So I structure a bit the why, what, and how of this collaboration between two DIHs. Why collaboration in general is important and interesting for DIHs can be summarized in various points. DIH-4I focuses exclusively in AI DIHs, and AI is an extremely wide field. So there are so many applications, there are so many technology streams for which no single DIH has all the competencies. Joining forces in this aspect has been very beneficial for TNO and Fortis. Another aspect is that our DIHs always face the fact that there is still a problem with the data they receive from SMEs. Maybe there is not enough data, or data is categorized in different ways. In addition, it is important to gather valuable expertise that can be available in other EU regions, other competence centers, or in other DIHs that we should make use of and not develop everything in silos. Going to the what, the development of joint services was at the core of the experiment between TNO and Fortis. They wanted to see how to work together, pulling together existing resources to enable the DIHs to respond to a client request, leveraging on the capabilities and infrastructure available in the network. How did this collaboration happen? In that case, something that worked quite well and that Bea mentioned is that they started with a speed dating session in order to understand the other DIHs, and at the end they had a brainstorming to understand how to solve loose ends together. So it is important not to start collaboration from zero, but from where there has been some work done before. Furthermore, what was really key at one point was having physical meetings, especially if we are focusing on aspects such as technical development, because DIHs, they all talk different languages, not just language-wise, but also background-wise. And that facilitates a good collaboration. Next slide, please. This is just a snapshot of the speed dating session that I have mentioned before. DIH had some mural boards facilitated by us from Intellera and Polimi in order to make DIHs explore their services and competencies. So it is always good to have a broker or facilitator that can act as a bridge between DIHs. Next slide, please. Now, just to give you some context on the experiment without entering too much into technical details, as anticipated, DIH-4I is about artificial intelligence, and TNO and Fortis had a collaboration on an experiment focusing on federated learning. In a nutshell, the basic idea behind this is that single entities may not have enough data to train a robust AI model, but also do not want to share the data. Maybe there is some mistrust about this. The idea is to federate the learning of the model between different parties. In that case, the data stays at premise, so it doesn't leave your company, it doesn't leave your repository, but the model will be trained through various metadata, through various streams. Fortis developed the top layer of the experiment, the accountability layer, while TNO provided the party and aggregator, which is the technical backbone of this experiment. The background for this experiment is that Fortis was already working on this type of solution and was exploring with IBM if they could provide this technical backbone of the experiment. But thanks to the speed dating session and brainstorming, they found out that TNO was actually providing a data space, an open source solution for federated learning. So they said, if they can do it with IBM using their technical backbone, why don't do it with TNO, which is in the same project, in the same consortium, and have it as a cross-DIH collaboration. So that's what they did at the end, developing this experiment and uploading it in the AI on demand platform. So the experiment is also available for everybody. Next slide, please. So at the end, thanks to this cross-DIH collaborative experiment, Fortis and TNO Digital Innovation Hubs were able to co-develop an AI solution, leveraging on their complementary assets. What can also be interesting for you is what are the difficulties and lessons learned that the DIHs faced while coming up with this collaboration. Challenges are, of course, to understand each other on complex experiments because everyone is in their own DIH and maybe DIHs are made of 10, 15 partners. So it's difficult rather or impossible to know what every other partner is doing. And that's the starting point where collaboration can really kick in, is to understand what they're doing. Then it is important to identify common technologies, services, and interests. In the case of Fortis, they were lucky to find out that TNO had the technical backbone that they needed for the experimentation. and Fortis had some technology that was compatible with what TNO was offering. A third challenge that is always tricky, especially if there is a lack of funding, in the case you are a DIH that wants to collaborate with another DIH outside of a context of a funded project, is the commitment of the involved partners and maybe some mistrust when there should be personal exchange. I mentioned this when we talked about the sharing data. Our lessons learned derive basically from the challenges. For us, it was really essential to have physical meetings at one point. Of course, some prerequisite, as we saw with the speed teach section, and pre-work was done, but the bottle opener was for sure the physical meeting. Also, having a common repository of services and AI assets has definitely facilitated the collaboration and saved a lot of time understanding what the other DHs are doing. Another aspect which can appear quite trivial, but it's not, is the need to translate in local languages, documents, and other materials for SMEs in the different European regions. It is very important not only for collaboration, but for the final objective, which is the engagement of SMEs. From my side is all, and I'll pass the word to Bea.
Thank you very much, Jaime, for illustrating this example of collaboration that can indeed happen even cross-border between different hubs. Therefore, I would say that our recommendation for today is to start this collaboration from the community days and take advantage, of course, of the network that has been established thanks to the DIH-World Project and make this lasting connection with other DIHs for the future, even in light of the new European funding programs. And of course, we are available if you have any additional questions for us or for the previous speakers. Otherwise, I would leave the floor back to our host, Jurada, for this session today.
Yes, thank you, Beatrice. Yes, of course, you're right. If you have any question or any experience or thought to share, we are more than willing to listen to them. Because I know that there are also other DIHs here with us today. So if they want to say something about their experience in the past 2 years of project, they are welcome to share it with us. In the meantime, I am going to remind you that the dates for this year's community days will be between the 17th and the 29th of April, and the topic selected will be digital twins. So you will have to structure something upon and around the topic of digital twins. I would like also to remind you that the project, the DIH-World Project, is going to end at the end of June. This means that we will have to be punctual with the submission of the forms, the reports, and all the documents that we need to collect and to gather. So please, let's make an effort all together to be on time and to respect the deadlines. As I was mentioning this morning at the beginning of this webinar, I am going to share with you some guidelines, the guidelines document, as well as the materials, the presentation that we have shown you today in the next few days. So just the time to collect them, and then I'm going to send a wrap-up email with all the information that we shared today. Again, if you have any questions, please raise your hand or write it in the chat. Otherwise, if not, I think that we can stop the recording and we can close this webinar. We are a little bit in advance with the time, but better for us because we all have to get back to work. So I thank you so much for coming, for your attention. And if you have any question, don't be afraid to send an email to me or to you, Rada team in general. Thank you so much to all of you and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.